Howdy, Ayebawl here, and welcome to another episode of Factorio with Arumba's Angel plus Bod Moss Pack. So now it's time to set up the other components that the Mark II robots were going to need. One was the brass gears for the arms, and I ran around and picked up a bunch of tin wire so that I can start producing the Mark II roboports. I should have also picked up steel gears and steel ball bearings, which is one of the other components that was needed. So now that the steel ball bearings and the brass gears are made, Mark II robots should have everything that they need. And there they go. So we'll just let that run for a while. So I decided to go ahead and make another piece that was missing, the NVAR, which was mainly used for the upgrades of the military applications. So NVAR needed nickel, and nickel just needed oxygen and raw nickel. So I was thinking about, well, I can just use an electrolysis and produce the oxygen here, or I can go somewhere where it's already being produced and the factory's not utilizing it and throw it into a chest. So I thought nickel, one of the byproducts of nickel was sulfuric acid, but it turned out that it was sulfur dioxide, not sulfuric acid. So once I got the setup that I like for the NVAR, I reposition it so that the output of the sulfur dioxide will be fed into the zinc, which was needing sulfuric acid. So I'll find this out later when I stop producing brass, and then I end up fixing it. So NVAR isn't really used for much except for the Mark II military applications like armor or the gun turrets. So that will just get put into a chest or a passive provider chest next to the brass and aluminum. So my original thought was um, to upgrade to the Mark III gun turrets and then push the biters back a little bit so I'm not being harassed while I pick up all the roll reports. But I ended up doing something different. So I started thinking that the production of the robot frames and the robot brains was too slow, so I built some more assemblers to help double the process. So basically, I was standing around checking the status of the production of the robots, seeing if there was any shortfalls and taking care of it. So I figured that I had enough construction robots that I then swapped to logistic robots. Or maybe it was vice versa. So while those robots were being made, I figured that it was time to finally get science up and running again. So my initial thought was just to take everything east and then build it up there. But after I built it all into one place, I was like, nah, I don't want to go that route. We're just going to go straight up with it. So I wanted blue just on one side of the belt, and then military science on the other side. I was trying to do something fancy, but what I was thinking just was not right. So the science packs that I picked up, I put back into the assemblers so that they can put them back on the belt. So I set up 10 science labs. Thought I had more. Wait, yes. Yeah, I got 10 more. So there we go. Science is back up and running again. I couldn't find them because they were in my tool belt. That's why. Tricky little devils. So since I couldn't find them, I went ahead and just made 10. So I guess now that I've realized where the other 10 was at, guess we can add the found 10 to this as well. So I'll make a blueprint and then I mirror copy it and then paste it down. So I'll start off with the long reach 3 science. I do like the fact that long reach is a science now, where it increases over time, rather than you just being able to pick something up completely on the other side of the screen at max zoom out from the beginning. I like that you have to work towards it. So I'm going to start with the west side of the base and start picking up all the roboports, forcing the robots east. And you can't just pick them up real fast, but I got tons of them, so I can just keep on going. But if a robot gets trapped inside an area of no longer being in a network, it will just make its way towards a roboport. Now that I've got several Mark 1s picked up, I can start making the Mark 2s without having to waste extra resources by making Mark 1s. I leave the Mark II roboports that are inside the railroad track so that the defensive wall is still covered. And then I'll just pick up all the roboports that cover the base. The base itself may come to a halt for a little bit due to lack of resources not being moved around, but that's okay for right now. I believe I had like something like 96. It was just under 100 Mark 1 roboports that I was utilizing. Once I get these upgraded to Mark 2s, I can use a lot less roboports to cover the entire base in the logistic network. But I'm going to need to set charging points down between the roboports. Otherwise, the robots will spend forever just at one roboport trying to charge up. When placing down roboport charging stations, the best place to place them is the path that the robots typically take majority of the time. So it's usually the halfway mark between the roboports, or a common destination that the robots fly back and forth from. Alright, well, I think I'm going to end it here, and I will finish picking up or collecting these Mark 1 robots so that they can be put in a chest and upgraded to Mark 2s. And I will replace the Mark II roboports so that the base is covered in a logistics network using far less roboports. Uh, Once I get that completed, I will then start recording for next episode. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.